Welcome to Madejski Stadium for this evening's Premier League 2 encounter between Reading and Manchester United. It's the final outing of 2019 for the Royals U23 side, and it comes a year to the day since we last hosted the Red Devils, and Angel Gomez's penalty was the difference on that occasion. The Royals finished third in this division last year, while United ended 7 points away from the playoff places. This season, however, a much improved Red Devils side are going toe-to-toe for top spot with West Ham. A win today would take them to within a point of the Hammers. That single automatic promotion place looks unlikely for the Royals, but away wins on distant trips to Sunderland and Newcastle in recent weeks have bolstered hopes of earning a playoff spot. And this is how the Royals line up tonight. Jokkel Andersson, who was on commentary duty for Thursday's Youth Cup fixture, is in his more familiar position between the sticks for the Reading's under-23s tonight. And it will be a back three of Roberto Nditi, Akinwale Ademayo and Andre Burley, while Jack Nolan and Marcel Elverfontaine take up the wing-back positions. In central midfield, Ryan East captains the team. Ethan Coleman slots in beside him. Ahead of them are Michael Elise and Josh Barrett, while Adam Liddell, who scored twice from the bench against Charlton last time the under-23s were at Madejski Stadium, leads the line. On the bench, three members of the under-18 side, which faced Crystal Palace in the Youth Cup last week. One of those is 16-year-old goalkeeper Kanaya Boyce-Clark, who also made his full debut for our 23s a year ago to the day against United. Ollie Pendlebury and Thierry Neves are also in the Youth Cup squad, while recent arrivals Warwick Catano and Femi Aziz are also amongst the subs and will within about 5 minutes from kickoff. So thank you to everyone joining us on YouTube this evening. And just to confirm Manchester United's team news, Mate Kovar's captain, Ethan Laird, Tiedemann Mengi, Max Taylor, Dishon Bernard, Mark Helm, Tahith Chong, Arno Pumgal, Largi Ramazani, Ethan Galbraith and Aliou Traore. Subs are Will Fish, Jacob Carney, Charlie McCann, Hannibal Mejbri and Dylan Hugewerf. And as the teams take their way to the field, let me just remind you of the team news for tonight. Jokkel Andersson, who was on commentary duty last time out, is in between the sticks this time round. Roberto Nditi, Akinwale Ademayo and Andre Burley make up the centre-half trio, while Jack Nolan and Marcel Elverfontaine take up wing-back positions. Ryan East captains the team alongside Ethan Coleman in centre midfield. Michael Elise and Josh Barrett ahead of them. And Adam Liddell leads the line. And just yesterday, Manchester United, with their productive academy. Their inclusion of Marcus Rashford, Jesse Lingard and Mason Greenwood in their first team yesterday ensured they reached a landmark of 4,000 consecutive games featuring an academy product. But the Reading Academy continues to produce and feed the first team too, and I'm delighted to welcome alongside me Tom McIntyre this evening for co-commentary. Welcome, Tom.
Hi Rich, cheers, yeah, how's it going?
Yeah,
really happy to make my commentating debut today actually, yeah.
And you're also, you've come fresh from the fan store as well. You were there signing autographs and so on for people ahead of Christmas.
Yeah, a lot of fans there, yeah, there was hundreds to be fair, so yeah.
And just a reminder of how the team lines up today. Tom, you were here as a fan on the Youth Cup at the weekend.
Yes, I was, yeah. Yeah, you did ask me to
you
did ask me to do the commentary that day, but I didn't think I was going to make it, so yeah, Jockel stepped in. Yeah, funny to see him now playing in goal today.
And as we prepare to kick off, it's always going to be a great occasion, isn't it, Tom? We're playing against Manchester United, so at any level, this is a big fixture for the boys.
Yeah, it is, yeah, and you get a few more people coming along to these games as well, so no, it's good for the boys and that, and you don't get massive crowds at 23s level, but yeah, if there's a few more, you do notice it, so yeah, no, it's good.
And the referee just checks with his assistants that everything's in order and that his watch is working. And Adam Liddell gets the game underway. So Tom, just reflecting very quickly on that Youth Cup on Thursday, disappointed for the boys? I'm sure you know plenty of them.
Yeah, it was really disappointing actually. It was just a shame they didn't sort of show what they could do, because I think they're a better team than what they showed on the night, but sometimes that just happens, so yeah, I'm sure sort of next year or in the next game they'll show what they can do though.
And a few of those boys are involved this evening on the bench. We've got the likes of Kanai Boyce-Clark, Thierry Neves and Ollie Pendlebury, all from that Youth Cup team in the 23s, and they'll be looking to make their impact.
Yeah, definitely. That was something when I was younger, if I was ever on the bench or stepped up with the 23s, it was always a bit nerve-wracking, but that's sort of where you wanted to be, because then you know you're a step closer to the first team.
United with the early possession and just making their way downfield. Chong, who just gets brought to the ground. And it's a free kick in the Reading half, which is taken quickly. And he'll be the man that I guess a lot of our supporters might be a bit more familiar with, Chong.
Yeah. Well, I've played against him a few times, and he's a good player. He's really quick on the ball, and yeah, he's good with his feet.
At this level of football, Tom, do you tend to know much about the opposition, or do you kind of concentrate a little bit more on yourself?
Yeah, you'll sometimes know a lot of them. Not so much watching them play, but more lads go through and you see them on Instagram and stuff. But yeah, it's odd, because you always think that these lads haven't done much in the game, but they've got thousands and thousands of followers, and you hear about them all the time. Which sometimes it's a good thing, but yeah, it's not always a good thing.
Which brings us to the point we mentioned right at the top, which is that when you play against Manchester United, you're playing against a huge club, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, we played them at Old Trafford last year, actually.
Early chance for Michael Elise. He slots in Josh Barrett. Fires over the bar. Decent opportunity straight away, and I guess he'll just be gutted. He hasn't hit the target there, Tom.
Yeah. Josh is usually good in those situations, but no, I'm sure I'll get another one.
Nice little flick around the corner by Adam Liddell in the first instance, which allowed Michael Elise to put in Josh Barrett. And Michael was one of the players who was unavailable for the Youth Cup because he was in that first team involvement, which shows how far he's come really in the last year or so, really.
Yeah, he's done really well. Because even at the start of last year, he was just playing with the 18s at the time. But yeah, he's come a long way in a short space of time.
And he wins a throw as we speak, after Ryan East had won possession in midfield. Big crossfield ball finds Elva Fontaine on this side. Lovely little ball into Elise, and he's got another opportunity. Goes for goal this time. Just curls away from the post. Looked like it might have had enough bend, but not quite in the end. 2 chances already, Tom.
Yeah. It's been a good start. I haven't really seen the ball in our half, to be fair.
This is against the United team who've won every one of the last 5 games in the Premier League too. So it's all order when you're playing against a team in good form like that.
Yeah, they're second in the league, aren't they? So yeah, they're a good side.
Trying to keep pace with West Ham, who extended their league at the top of Premier League 2, Division 2 today with a 4-0 win over Newcastle United. But Reading sure to give them a tough afternoon if they can, and no foul there on Elva Fountain. This is bundled to the ground by Mark Helm. And here's Helm again. Just slips away from Josh Barrett, and there's a bit of defending to do now for the Royals. As Laird goes wide. This is Traoré. As the ball comes over, it's Elva Fountain at the back post. A little bit of defending there for Reading to do, which is the first time this evening, really.
Yeah, Jack Nolan over there on the left. He's not actually a left wing back. He's usually a left winger, so he did well there. Yeah, he's cut the angle off for him.
In this level, which was mentioned to Yockel, I mean, not as a goalkeeper, but lots of players, when you play at this level, you've got to play out of position sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah,
show you're willing to work and do the dirty work for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Great tackle, that.
And it was appreciated by the crowd as well. A few fans have turned up tonight after the fan store signing session, tucked below us in the West Lower. And a rather cheap offside decision goes the way of Reading. Slightly sloppy there, you'd say. So I suppose, Tom, throughout your time, your many, many years at the academy, you've played with pretty much every one of these lads out there.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I've been through a lot of age groups as well. Some of them have been at the club since really young as well, like myself. But yeah, it's great to see everyone sort of progressing, and at the time you don't really think that you'll get to this level. So yeah, it's brilliant to be doing it with your mates and stuff.
On the field tonight, who's the player you've known since they were youngest, do you reckon?
Probably Josh.
Yeah,
Josh Barrett. Went to school with him as well when we moved to Forest. But yeah, he's been here since he was really young.
And it means a lot, doesn't it, when you're that young and you come through the age groups and you finally get to put the first team jersey on eventually, as you have done and as Josh has done, and a few of the boys out there tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's great to see. Even some making their first team debuts and stuff, and when it's your mates, it's extra special.
Ref allows play to go on, and Elise skips away from that one and eventually draws the foul. So Tom, I guess you'd be potentially out there tonight if it wasn't for your current situation. You've got a bit of an injury at the moment.
Yeah, it's only a slight strain. It's just frustrating really because I recovered from my slight quad injury. But you're always a bit more at risk when you haven't played for a few weeks and you've been injured. So yeah, hopefully the next few weeks I'll be back. But yeah, it's just frustrating really.
Fair to say you've had your fair share of frustration in terms of injuries for a whole career's worth, really. Am I right to think you didn't have an FA Youth Cup run in your time because
I never played in the Youth Cup, which all the lads always say that it's one of their sort of, even the ones who sort of made their first team debuts, it's one of their sort of best memories in football so far. But yeah, I've never experienced it.
Yeah, if you don't mind us dwelling on it just for a moment, what were the nature of yours? Well, actually, I'll tell you what, let's get distracted by Jack Nolan's little run down the wing. He's upended.
That's got to be a foul, surely.
Max Taylor wiped out Jack Nolan, but the referee showed no interest, which seems pretty remarkable.
Not sure about that one, ref.
Well, we'll try and be as neutral as we can, but in that instance, to an extent, absolutely. And Reading just keeping possession on that far side. So yeah, Tom, the Youth Cup was. Oh, here we go again. Once again, the attacking play breaks things up for us. Nice little footwork by Elverfontaine, but eventually he's dispossessed just on the edge of the United box, and United will come clear. Nice little run there from Galbraith, who feeds Chong. He's got a few little options. Chooses to go to Mark Helm, and there's a couple of men over here, so Reading needs to get back in position quickly.
Great tackle.
That's a fantastic tackle by Elverfontaine, and Elise is just going to shield the ball well, and he slips away from Taith Chong and draws the foul as well. Excellent footwork and strength as well, but slightly rushed there by Barrett. I think he anticipated a little shimmy forward from Adam Liddell, which didn't come. But yeah, the Youth Cup, Tom. What were the natures of your injuries? So, were pretty long-term ones.
My first one was a stress fracture in my back. That kept me out for 12 months, and then the second one was quite a serious knee injury, which meant I missed my second-year scholars turn at going in the Youth Cup. But yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously disappointed that I never got to experience it, but yeah, I believe in sort of fate, and obviously it just wasn't meant to be. Yeah,
and all's well that ends well. You've had your first team debut and a few more appearances since then, and fingers crossed plenty more as well.
Yeah, let's hope so, yeah.
Adam Liddell just puts a bit of pressure on, but United eventually get clear. Or maybe not, because here comes, the steaming run there of Andre Burley as he came forward. Again, possibly a shout for a foul, but no big protestations from a Reading point of view. And Chong goes to the ground, but
it's never a foul.
And well, it looked quite exaggerated. Let's say.
Sorry, we've got to stay impartial.
Okay, let's nip that in the bud. We'd have to stay too impartial. That looked like a bit of a flop, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Tom Daly, I think would have maybe been proud of that one.
What are you going to score him for that?
I'm giving him an 8.5.
Okay. But he has won a free kick, whether under the nose of the assistant referee, and he looks like Chong will take it.
He was the same when we played him at their place. He was good at drawing fouls.
It's his own kind of art form, let's say.
Yeah.
So everybody from a Reading persuasion in the box, except for Michael Elise, who's just waiting on the outside. Chong takes it. Jokkel Andresen with a big punch into a big bit of space, so no immediate danger on the rebound. Excellent little footing by Jack Nolan once again. Again, doing that defensive dirty work that will stand him in good stead, whatever position he plays in, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Ethan Coleman just tidies up.
Oh, well played.
And even under pressure against a United team that have scored plenty and on a bit of a winning streak, the Royals are happy to play this possession football in their own half and not be hurried or harried, and just keep doing things the way they do, which I guess is the sort of style that you like as well, Tom.
Yeah, the 23s is a team. Always believe they'll go out and beat the team that's in front of us, and yeah, I don't think we played against United a few times before and got good results.
Raking ball across the field from Coleman, finds Elverfontaine. Slightly heavy touch, but he's going to get away with it. And eventually he's dispossessed. But yeah, a couple of loose touches in there. Adam Liddell steals possession once more. He drives towards the edge of the box. Barrett's got an opportunity to cross. He goes low. And DT wins possession again. Some good battling in the circumstances. Coleman's looking at his options, finds Barrett on the far side, who's gone back. Oh no, beg your pardon, Jack Nolan. Ethan Coleman. Good little opportunity, but well defended by United. Some.
Yeah, no, they did well there, yeah. Got players behind the ball.
Bit loose there from Jokkel Anderson, and Chong picks up and fires over. Bit of a let off there, you'd say.
Should have done better with that, I think. Sort of cutting in on his stronger foot. I think he should have maybe tried to test Jokkel a bit more there.
Yeah, the shot over the bar was slightly wasteful after a relatively cheap concession. That's the danger, isn't it, of the possession style? But Jokkel's not going to be deterred, and here he is again.
It's going to happen as well. The 23s, like we're asked to play out from the back and that, and mistakes are going to happen. But you just got to sort of take it on the chin if it does, and make sure the next thing that you do is good.
If you end up being afraid of making a mistake, you're going to be have a very average career, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to sort of step out your comfort zone and show something different and stand out, really. Oh,
that's loose, and that's that. Under no pressure whatsoever, United have conceded a corner, which Josh Barrett steps over to. That's happened at both ends then. Who's the big threat in here, Tom?
Akin, I think. Feeling around the back post.
Ryan East might have a try at finding him, but the cross is cut out, and a little bit lucky there for Helm as Elise's interception breaks clear. Chong goes wide to Traore. And it's eventually quite wild. There've been not many, neither keeper really having a save to make so far. Been a few efforts, but they've all been off target. So Tom, you were here as a supporter on Thursday, and I think you've been spotted in the away ends once or twice this season for the first team as well.
Yeah, no, I went to the Brentford game away. It's something that I've actually missed in an odd kind of way. Although I've been on the bench and stuff, I haven't been to an away game for a long time. Yeah, so it was great to get along and be with the fans as well.
Fantastic header on by Adam Little, I beg your pardon, for Michael Elise. He had the option of Barrett early on, but he finds Nolan. Elverfontaine around the far post wants it. Adam Little could end up getting there. Just dispossessed by the last by Ethan Galbraith. And now, on the counter, Chong gets all the way to the byline, crosses low. It's deflected wide off of Akinwale Ademayo, and from a decent opportunity at one end, it was quickly turned around, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good block there from Akin. He just got his body in front of it.
Could have pinballed anywhere, but thankfully did enough to take it off target.
As long as it doesn't go in the net, it's a good block.
It's a centre half speaking there, Tom McIntyre alongside us in the commentary position. Yeah, you're not afraid of a bit of hurly-burly, are you, Tom?
No, not at all. Yeah, no, it's something you got to do. Yeah, just sort of put your body on the line and just block it with anything you can.
And since your step up into first team affairs, has that been the thing you've enjoyed most, kind of getting out there against big centre forwards and showing that you can mix it up like in men's football effectively? Yeah, definitely.
You learn so much as well. Yeah, I learned more from sort of a few games than I have done for sort of years. It's just a completely different environment, and yeah, just everything about it's just step up really.
That was a fantastic save in the middle of that from Jokkel Anderson, just A very whipped shot by Taith Chong that looked like it might have been dipping in at the near post, but Yockel.
His goalkeeping's definitely better than his commentary.
Careful, Tom. You're putting yourself under. You're putting yourself in danger.
I'm not saying mine's great, but I'm trying.
You're doing your best. You're doing very well so far, Tom. Thanks for having us, and thanks for joining us after the fan store signing session, which I'm hoping you enjoyed that as well.
But it's good to see everyone and that. Looking forward to Christmas, getting their Christmas gifts signed.
And United have got another corner on the far side. It's going to be Chong with the in-swinger. Just signals to his teammates what his intentions are. But Andre Burley heads clear. Just take this opportunity to remind you our next home fixture for the first team is against Derby County. That takes place this Saturday, 21st December at 3 p.m. And it's a very much a festive themed fixture. Plenty going on in the Christmas festive fan zone over at near the Eamon Dolan stand, including reindeer rodeo and mince pies and so on, Tom. So
I might be down myself, to be fair. I think you sold me with the mince pies.
Not the reindeer rodeo?
No, not a fan of reindeer rodeo myself.
And Reading have got an attack brewing as once again Michael Elise just used his body brilliantly once more. He's got very good feet, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, no, he's great with his feet. Even in training, he's pretty hard to defend against at times.
Little comes short and just spins into a little bit of space. Ryan East picks up possession. And Josh Barrett with that cross-field ball that he plays so often, but this time Elmer Fountain can't quite control and ends up handling, which lets United off the hook in that instance. 20 minutes played, no goals so far. And what have you made of it so far, Tom?
Yeah, there's not really been many great chances. I think the best one was probably Josh's chance, I'd say. But yeah, I thought we defended well, and they looked like they were going to counter a few times, but we've done well to get men behind the ball and stop them.
And eventually the referee signals for a goal kick as Traore knocks it over the byline. A little bit of head tennis as Ethan Coleman tries to nod down towards Ryan East, who's not going to give up on it.
Well played, Andre.
And Jack Nolan shows what he can do as he goes forward, because well, now here comes Elva Fountain. He's going to get on the end of it. Steps onto his left foot, his favoured left foot, in fact. Great footwork. And he wins the corner from the low cross. Inverted wing backs, Tom. You got a left footer down here on the right hand side who's.
Yeah, he's good, Marcel. He's good with his feet too. I remember watching the 18s game against Villa last year. I think they lost in the end, but I thought he had a really good game.
Elise's corner. It's met on the far side, but just travels wide. A few bodies flying in. I think it was Nditi who got the last touch. That's the thing, Tom, isn't it? You know, that's how we reach that landmark of 54, of which you are one academy players to come through, is because you mentioned Marcel there, but Michael Elise and Ethan Coleman's been on the bench. Josh Barrett's played first team football. There's a lot of players just putting the pressure on the first team and mixing it up in training and being amongst it.
Yeah, of
Roberto
course.
and
Yeah.
DT on the ball now.
It's just about doing all you can sort of to stand out and show the manager what you got, really. And when the chance does come, you got to try and take it, because you don't get many chances. But yeah, that's what all us younger lads work towards, is those opportunities.
United look to break again, and as usual, they go wide to Taith Chong, who tries to use his pace, but eventually Andre Burley gets to tackle him.
Well there.
Yeah, and Chong remonstrates and hopes for something more as he got earlier, but he's going to have to settle for a corner instead, which he'll go over and take. Great tackle by Andre there.
Yeah, he's got his body across him, as I thought he was trying to run him down the line there, but yeah, Andre did well and stopped him.
Can be a scary sight, can't it, as a centre half, if a play, he's got a turn of pace on him and tries to knock it past. You've got plenty of work to
Yeah,
catch
it's
up.
tough, because if you try and sort of read him knocking it down the line early, he might try and run you inside. But yeah, it's just about sort of anticipating what he's going to do next, really.
Jokel Anderson came a long way, and again, can consider himself a little bit lucky there. I think he was probably knew what the danger looked like and where the opposition were, so the ball travels behind for a goal kick in the end. One too many bodies in the way there for Coleman. Adam Little's going to scamper as best he can to pressure Mate Kovar, but United captain rushes off his goal line quickly. That's Adam Little's game, isn't it, really? Harrying and hassling and trying to make life really hard, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he works really hard, Adam does, and he's good finisher too.
And he proved that last time the under-23s were here at Madejski Stadium, 2 goals off the bench against Charlton to turn a game on its head in the Premier League Cup.
Yeah, no, he came on late. He was disappointed he didn't start, but yeah, that's what you got to do. Again, is just take those opportunities.
Josh Barrett with an opportunity now as he played in down the left wing, going to cut onto his right foot. Barrett again goes wide for Nolan, who once again wins a corner. Or a throw-in, I should say.
Well read again from there, Andre.
Unfortunately, Nditi was just beaten to the ball by Helm, and that's going to give United an opportunity. But the numbers are stacking up from a Reading point of view, and Ryan, and he comes away with the ball. Another player who doesn't mind getting amongst it.
Yeah, he's done well there. He slowed him down and managed to get a few of the lads behind the ball, and then he's won it back.
Very intelligent footballer, isn't he, Ryan East?
Yeah, he's top draw, yeah. I really enjoy playing with him.
Adam Little just running off the shoulder. Max Taylor's going to have to deal with this. Eventually he does and wins the ball cleanly, allowing Ethan Laird to scamper away towards the halfway line. And he takes a tumble, and the referee once again decides that's a foul. A little bit of a soft one, but probably more in that than some of the other ones that have been given. If you'd agree, Tom.
Yeah, a little bit soft for me.
Good header by Roberto
Yeah,
and
he's done
DT.
well there.
And the referee just, as he sees Aliou Traore clutching his head, decides to bring play to a halt. Nothing in that really, nothing malicious, but those things can happen when you go up for headers, can't they, Tom?
Yeah. No,
I'm asking the right person there, aren't I? Tell us about what happened at Rotherham last year. Just over a year ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was actually a year ago yesterday, actually.
Mm.
But yeah, fractured my skull in the first sort of 15 minutes, going up for a similar sort of header like that. But yeah, it wasn't too pleasant.
But 75 minutes later, you were still on the field.
Yeah. I don't think anything could have sort of brought me off for that game.
Tom McIntyre up in the commentary position, watching on as we approach the half-hour mark. Still 0-0 between Reading and Manchester United in Premier League 2 tonight. For the Reading, it's these points will be all important because there's a playoff space to be earned towards the end of the season. And doesn't look in a great condition, Aliou Traore, as we speak, does he?
No, he doesn't. It's always worrying, head injuries.
Medical staff from both clubs just assessing Traore just to see if he's okay. And he's sitting up, which is a good sign. If we can remind you too about the other of the two festive fixtures here at Madejski Stadium on Boxing Day. QPR are in town. Season ticket holders reminded that they can use midweek mates rates for this game. So it's if they can buy up to 2 tickets for friends and family at the price of £10 adults or £5 concessions. So fantastic value at Christmas, Tom.
It's a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
I spoke to Yockel on Thursday, Tom, about the fact that the club makes football quite affordable here, makes £20 tickets for first team games. Normally there's plenty of special offers and makes the youth games completely free. It gives the fans a chance, doesn't it, really? You're not going to be priced out at Reading.
Yeah, no, that's great. Even seen a lot on Twitter about away fans tickets being at £20 and then we'll go to their place and they'll be charging us £35. But yeah, it's great that the club do that because it just all works towards having a good atmosphere with more people behind us.
Not only that, but the owners have been putting on free coach travel, not to Brentford, so you had to go make your own way there this time, Tom.
Yeah.
But for 15 of those away games, which is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's great. That is, yeah. Because even sort of youngsters and stuff can get to games then. But yeah, no, that's great. Great gesture from the owners. That.
I think Jack Nolan felt that tackle as it came in, and Ethan Laird's referee's just taking Ethan Laird aside to tell him what he thinks of that one. What was your favourite away day then as a young man?
It's got to be Leicester. Leicester when we went up, that's got to be my favourite ever away day, that.
And if I recall correctly, there's a picture of you outside Madejski Stadium from that evening, isn't there, as a very young man?
Yeah, that was actually outside the King Power, actually, after the game. Me and my cousin managed to get on a little interview with BBC South Today. So we were buzzing as well with that.
Traore is back up and making life difficult. Mengi picks up the ball on the far side, on the near side, I should say. Well, it looked like it might have gone out of play, but Mark Helm judged to have kept it in play. Well, it's a fantastic little interchange, but eventually Deschamps Bernard prevents that from turning into anything.
Not a foul for me.
Referee disagrees and gives another United free kick. Not the first one for this half by any stretch, and not the probably not the softest either for that matter. Can you remember, Tom, the first time you played here at Madejski Stadium?
Oh yeah, that would have been a long time ago for the one of the younger age groups. We always used to have a game on the pitch at the end of the season, and yeah, I, like a lot of the boys, would be buzzing for it. But yeah, that would probably been maybe 6, 7.
Again, hard work from Adam Liddell, and he wins possession. Here comes Ryan East with a decent effort. Ooh. Just flies wide. He's got a left foot on him, hasn't he, Ryan East? And that could have easily gone in.
He's got a foot like a traction engine, that lad.
See how many Partridge references we can get into tonight's coverage. That was all came around from just some hassle from Adam Liddell, who he bases so much of his game on making life difficult for the opposition, not letting them rest, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, that's massive as well. If you got a striker who can do that, it's such a good thing for the defence as well. It takes so much pressure off you. The way we play in the first team, it's all about doing that. Really, is the strikers need to work hard if you've got two up top. Because if you can stop them up there, you're close to the goal for your own opportunities. So, yeah, if Adam just keeps his head down and keeps working, I'm sure at some stage you'll get a chance.
Big benefit, of course, Tom, not just the chances that you earn at Reading, but there's so many players who've come through the academy and had pro careers, which just, one place for another. Once again, another foul as Traore goes down. Again, a little bit shoulder to shoulder, but the referee spots an infringement. Yeah, plenty of players who haven't quite made it here, gone elsewhere, and some have gone even further. I guess Jack Stacey, he dropped down and now he's playing Premier League football. Plenty of players playing in Leagues 1, 2 and National League, and they've made a career out of football, which is not to be taken for granted as an academy prospect, is it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, really. Because if Reading are not wanting you, it's not sort of the end of your career as a player. You got to just get your head down, and there's plenty of players who sort of mature at different ages and stuff. So yeah, it's not the be all and end all.
Free kick to defend near the corner flag here. Harmlessly over the bar, to the frustration of, I think it was Deshaun Bernard who beg your pardon, it was Tidin Mengi who had got back there as well to win his defensive header. Reading not allowing United to settle, and eventually the ball goes a bit long, and DT just mops up and goes back to Anderson. He blasts it downfield, and it's going to go all the way back to the United keeper, Kovar. So beyond the obvious, Tom, beyond what you'd learn on the pitch, well, let's leave that for a moment because Michael Elise's got an opportunity. He's got men over, cuts into space, and the shot's just blocked out. And United forced him into a little bit of a cul-de-sac there, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got back well.
I was going
Good opportunity though. That.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Tom. What do you learn beyond the football at Reading Football Club at the academy, and what do they try and instill in you from a young age?
Just to be a good person, sort of first and foremost, because I think that gets you a long way in life. Is sort of, just good people skills, I suppose. That's
filtered down, didn't it? I guess when Eamon Dolan was here, that was one of his many mantras that he tried to instill into the club, into the players he worked with.
Yeah, exactly. It's massive, really, because not everyone's going to be a professional footballer. So yeah, making sure you got people skills that'll sort of carry you well in life, I think.
Chong finds lead on the overlap. And that's simple enough for Anderson to scoop up. Do you manage to keep in touch with any of the boys that have dropped out of the academy? Do you still get to sort of keep in touch either via social media or in person?
Yeah. From time to time, I speak to some of the lads that have gone. But yeah, everyone's sort of. It's good. It's good to be fair. Although they're not here, everyone's doing their own thing. And
as we're talking, the opening goal are now Pugmal, I beg your pardon, who opens the scoring, and that was just come from a little bit of high press from a United point of view. And they converted their opportunity, Tom.
Yeah, they have, yeah. They've done well there.
Similar to what we talked about, really. You could try and pass from the back, and sometimes you get bit, and just ran away from Jack Nolan in that left wing-back position, didn't it? And they
it's going to happen. Yeah. It's about how we react now.
So 40 minutes played. Manchester United lead 1-0 here at Madejski Stadium. Probably a little bit of an unfair reflection on the way the game's gone. Reading have had some really good sights of goal around the box, haven't they, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it reflects it at all, really. We've had some good chances ourselves.
As the Reading restarts, they've got 5 minutes to see if they can go into the half-time break all square. As things stand, they've got a little bit of work to do as United look to put pressure on West Ham at the summit of the Premier League Division 2 table. 10 out of the 12 teams in this division played today. West Ham versus Newcastle was the early kick-off. Only Norwich and bottom team Sunderland are the only two not involved. Do you tend, when you were involved in the 23s, Tom, I mean, we mentioned the table and playoffs and the rest of it, not necessarily something you'd pay that much attention to necessarily compared to as you would as a first-team player?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You still do sort of look at it from time to time and you'll sort of know where you are, but yeah, as you say, it's much more important at a first-team level.
And at the risk of sounding the obvious, it must be a pretty exceptional experience to be a young man who's been watching from afar and taking interest at Reading's fortunes, and then to actually be in the thick of it and affecting it and playing your part.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'm loving every minute of it, really. But yeah, it's great.
Mengi's little flick goes out of play. With three players around him, Adam Liddell is dispossessed and led from his right back position, comes storming forward and passes the ball into touch. Too many options for him in that instance. Has to bisect all of his teammates.
Schming.
Well read by Andre Burley, not shying away from that challenge of Taith Chong, who of course made his Manchester United debut against Reading in the FA Cup last season.
Of course,
were you there for that game as well, Tom?
No, I wasn't. I was still recovering from my head injury, actually. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed I couldn't play a part.
Must have been proud of the kind of performance the boys put in that day, because I think looking at earlier, Reading had 60% of possession at Old Trafford, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, the performance was good. Yeah, it's always dangerous that though, because you know that when they get the chances there, they'll most likely take them.
Cool play under pressure, and that's a fantastic crossfield ball. Elise's going to scamper onto it. Takes it on early. Effort just runs away from Josh Barrett, and he eating up a lot of ground to get there. And a fantastic tackle.
Done well there.
Elise knows he's going to be called offside if he gets onto that. Yeah, but
he needed to make that tackle as well. I think he was through there.
Just the ball just ran away from Josh Barrett as Elise had teed it up, and it would needed the perfect touch, really, didn't it? He'd made up a lot of ground to get into that position, Josh.
Yeah, he'd come onto it so fast. I think it was tough to get it under control there.
Just a single added minute at the end of the first half as United lead by a goal to 0. Chong picks up on the right-hand side as they look for a second goal before the break. He just runs into the traffic. Chong again. As the ball goes back towards the centre circle, the referee thinks about blowing for half-time, but he allows play to continue. And as Reading look to build an attack, no doubt that's when he'll reach for his whistle. Well, play continues, and Reading are going to have to defend through in DT. Traore gets into the area, but just really good, strong play, and Anderson picks up the ball. Great defending there.
Got his body in front and sort of just shielded it back to Yockel.
Referee still allows play to continue. We had the 1 minute, and we're almost into the third added minute of the first half for some reason. Beg your pardon, I'm being told we had 3 added minutes at the end of the first half, which explains why play continues. And a position like this, Tom, about what we're talking, nearly 40 yards from goal, what would you like to see happen here? What kind of ball would you want? Something towards the back post to attack?
Yeah, just sort of whip towards the back post and just try and get a tap on it. Even if it's one of their players, it could go anywhere. It's always tough that for a keeper too.
There's a few bodies in there. Odemeye is one of them, and it could be turned in. Adam Liddell turns it in just before the break. The Royals equalise, but they're going to have to. Well, there's, as much as they're happy for the goal, a little bit of concern for the player who's down. Is that Ethan Coleman who was bundled to the ground there?
I think it was Ethan. Yeah.
I think it was he who won the initial header. Very much taking one for the team there. But a great finish from Adam Liddell, just anticipates it. Exactly what we mentioned. put it towards the back post, let the boys attack it and see where the scraps lie.
Yeah, great poach in there from Adam as well. He's in the right place at the right time.
And the first half is just going to continue for a little bit longer while Ethan Coleman receives a little bit of attention. See if we can get the other members of the press area to join in with that one, Tom.
I think we're struggling, to be fair.
Our cameraman's not interested. I'm sure as soon as play restarts, it will probably be half-time. Tom, how would you reflect on this first half?
I think we just edged it, to be fair. I don't think I think maybe 1-1's a fair reflection, I'd say. But yeah, I think we were unlucky to go a goal behind when we did. But yeah, I think it's just about taking our chances. I think we've had a few sort of half chances, but yeah, just need to be a bit more clinical.
That's the half-time whistle. So that's half-time, Tom. What do you fancy that Scott Marshall's going to be saying to the boys in the changing room over the half-time break?
Just keep doing what we're doing, really. I think just need to keep trying to press them high. I think when we pressed them high, they've sort of struggled a bit to play out at times. And yeah, if they get on the counter, just try and get as many men behind the ball as you can, really.
And how are you finding your commentary debut?
Yeah, it's been all right. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I sort of had a few tips off Yockel on what not to do.
Have you winked at the camera yet?
No, I haven't. No. Yeah, that did get sent into the group chat with the lads, and they did have a little chuckle, to be fair.
Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary position, Tom. We're going to take a little break. Back in around 10 minutes' time.
Max splash just before the game started. Oh, we've got red Nottingham Forest.
High five, see? No, high five. High five.
They got caught on the first read. Yeah. Did you?
Right, sorry.
That's right, all right. Yeah. Love it, Queensley.
Well, Tom McIntyre, as we approach the start of the second half, normally the time when we'd have a little look at the YouTube comments, but it's probably more interesting to see what people have been texting you about. You've had a few of the boys getting in touch. What they had to say?
Yeah, they've just all been sort of singing my praises. My commentary's been absolutely excellent, I've heard. But yeah, Gareth McCleary said...
He's been hanging on every word of yours, hasn't he?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's all been positive comments, so yeah.
More of that in the second half, hopefully. And so let's just take a little look at the league table as it stood, if we can, before this round of fixtures.
To be fair, if GMAC is listening now, I think maybe next 23s game he could come up here and I can show him the ropes.
And this is how the Premier League 2 Division 2 table looked before today's game. West Ham United went 4 points clear at the top with their win against Newcastle United earlier. Manchester United looking to put the pressure on, but as things stand, they won't extend their run of consecutive wins. Reading hoping to break into that playoff group, which at the moment is being a bit dominated by Midlands clubs, Stoke, West Brom and Villa in there. Yeah, Gareth McCleary, he's giving the talk on WhatsApp, isn't he? But he's got a...
I'll let him have it.
Bit of volunteer himself.
I hope he is still listening.
And as the two teams make their way onto the field, there was a United player getting ready for action during the break. Dylan Hugerwerf was doing a few little sprints in the penalty area. Looked like he might be getting ready to come on. It's the referee who's the last player out the tunnel onto the pitch, and he'll drop the ball in the centre circle for United to get the second half underway.
Big time ref, just balls in when he wants.
And as suspected, there is going to be a change at the break for United. And it's Lagi Ramazani who makes way for Dylan Hugerwerf.
You've done incredible there, Rich.
You don't know that, Tom. We're both assuming that I've done incredible, but... The referee keeps us waiting a little bit longer, checks his watch. Keeps checking it. And gets the second half underway. United are going to be kicking towards the south stand this half. The Royals will head towards the Eamon Dolan stand. Just listen out to see whether the stadium announcer went for the same kind of pronunciations that I was going for, Tom. What do you reckon? Better, worse?
I'd probably say worse, to be fair.
Thank you.
I think I'll give you that one.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm glad you had to say it and not me.
Was Ryan East is bundled over. There's once again no foul in the Royals' favour, and Mark Helm just plays it out to the left. And it easily intercepted there, meant for Chong, but East is in another good position. He's always floating around that little central area, isn't he, looking for any scraps to snaffle in on. Looks like Ethan Coleman's lost his number for the second half. Any idea why that might be? You think a little head injury there, Tom? In there?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Bit of blood on his shirt.
But he's braved it. So a quick turn of pace there by Ethan Laird, and he spots the runner on the outside. It's Traore, whips one, hits the crossbar. Chong's got the opportunity, and it's cleared off the line. Yeah. Well, two opportunities there for United. The one was pretty spectacular by Aliou Traore as he cut in onto his right foot, and then Chong, not very decisive with his header, but he goes quick on the corner. Laird looks at his options, dips one in, and Coleman, in spite of his big knock he took, not afraid to put his head in there again. And that's just over hit. So yeah, decent opportunities there for United, Tom.
Yeah, no, that was a good effort that from the lad. But yeah, the rebound, I think, had no pace in it, so he couldn't get much power on the header.
Few comments dropping in for Tom on the YouTube. Hoping to see him in the away end for Fulham. What do you think, Tom? Hopefully you'll be kind of getting back towards fitness by that point.
Yeah, I'd like to be involved, to be fair, but yeah, if I'm not, might make the trip to Fulham.
Lovely.
It's always a good ground, that.
Some great little left-footed play there by Easton and Elise in turn to Wizards with their left feet. Barrett chips one in. Elise's got a few options. Ryan East absolutely blasts one, and it's 1-1 in terms of the...
Told you about that left foot.
Off the post. Half a chance there as Nolan attacks it. But yeah, start the second half, only 4 minutes played, and both teams have hit the woodwork. Absolute thunderbolt from, traction engine, as Tom described it, in very much an Alan Partridge style, against the woodwork. He goes short for this one.
Oh.
And just can't quite lift it into any of his teammates there.
Oh, unlucky.
Good strike from Ryan though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, he's good at that.
If I recall correctly, Ryan East got an assist away at United last season, perhaps?
Yeah, I think he did, yeah.
Ben House managed to stick his head on and was waiting for the offside flag to be raised, but a bit of a broken line allowed Reading to go away celebrating. I think it was 1-1 on that occasion.
Yeah, I think we should have won that game, to be fair. We had so many chances. Towards the end, we were all over them.
And not to labour the point too much, Tom, but the fact that Reading Football Club can regularly mix it up with a team with resources like Manchester United is pretty spectacular, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. But I think that's sort of credit to the academy coaches and stuff that they bring us all up to be sort of not afraid to play against anyone, I'd say.
Of course, Michael Gilks at Reading FC Legends taken the top job at the academy. He's been appointed as academy manager recently. Someone you've presumably known for a little while
Yeah, delighted that he's got that actually, Jilksy. I remember he was one of my younger coaches, so it's great to see him getting that job now.
Decent ball in from Jack Nolan, just slightly overhit for Adam Little in the middle, who's the only target. Yeah, so what age did you first get any coaching tips from Michael Jukes then?
I'd like to say under 13s or under 12s. Remember, it was a session we had it was during the summer holidays. We had an all-day training camp at Leighton Park, and I remember him turning up and giving us all a few tips and stuff.
And you'd have been too young to have seen him play, but I guess your family would be familiar with what he did for the football club and how he was been involved for so long.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard a lot about him.
Just slips away there as Nditi looks to join the attack. And even though, Tom, you've played with all of these boys on the pitch, there's probably a couple who maybe a bit less familiar to you. Some of the younger boys who've joined, Femi Aziz and Warwick Catano, both joined this summer. I guess you've had a bit of more limited time with them.
Yeah, I haven't played too much with those boys. I've heard they're good players and stuff. So yeah.
DT sort of bundled to the ground by Traore, but the referee doesn't look too interested. But Reading still have possession. Burley with a little drop of the shoulder. Jack Nolan scampers out of that.
It's done well there.
And Coleman just checks his shoulders to make sure there's no one around, and East sweeps the ball wide quickly. Once again, East picks up a ball in a good position, just beats his man and sets off another attack. Barrett to Elise, and again, Barrett finds Nolan. He's got a few options here. He managed to skip past his man, just over the head a little. But Elva Fontaine's going to take it with his right foot and just dipping over. He's a decent F on his right foot. He's less favoured foot as well, but probably wanted to hit the target there, didn't he?
Yeah. I think Josh isn't happy that he didn't cross it there to him.
In the build-up, Jack Nolan did very well just to ride the tackle of Ethan Laird and put in that delivery. Just slightly overhit for Adam Little in the middle. Again, Coleman reads it well. Elise's got men in tow. Nice ball forward for Little. What can he do with this? Just backs into his marker. Finds Ryan East, who's going to shuttle the ball. Elise gets the shout and man on. Josh Barrett has got plenty of options, but again, just with those quick feet, manages to get it out of them. Here's Nditi on the overlap. What can he deliver? Adam Little's going to attack it. It's fantastic pressure, and it's going to, well, United get a tad lucky there as Ethan Galbraith was back defending, wins a throw. But that's what the kind of pressure we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, high pressing football. That's what we're told to do.
Got to have a lot of energy to keep that up, haven't you?
Yeah. But I think that's just the basics, really. Working hard in a game is sort of what you expect from any player, really.
And United's chances so far have largely come on that counter, so Reading have done well to to make sure those chances haven't been converted as we speak.
Sure.
Well, Andre Burley drops into his own half, but he's the only outfield player in the Reading half as things stand. So there is a big gap for United to exploit if they get the opportunity. But Reading haven't been very Scrooge-like in not allowing any opportunities. So get a little Christmas pun in there for you, Tom. We mentioned Ryan Easton, what he can do. He's just he knows what pass he's going to play before the pass has been made to him, doesn't he? Sometimes.
Yeah. He's always checking his shoulders and that, and knows he's about. I think that's a massive thing, especially for a midfielder, is to be checking your shoulders all the time.
Now it's United who come forward. And
I think that's a good foul, that, to be fair.
I think it
probably
looks like Roberto Nditi is going to be the first man to have his name taken today. And if he hadn't have done, Aliou Traore would have been into a very good position indeed. But as things stand, it's just going to be a free kick. Two men over the ball as the free kick is set. Taith Chong and the goal scorer Arnau Pigmal favours the right footer. But he fires it straight into the wall. And Reading have got the opportunity to break if he can launch Barrett through on goal. And the offside flag, even though
I'm not sure about that
well,
at
it
all.
looked like he was still in the Reading half when the ball was played. That's absolutely, well, I've got to say.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, there's no huge protestations on the Reading bench, but it looked like Josh Barrett was quite clearly in the Reading half by a good few yards when the ball was played. Well, we don't have the benefit of the replays. We can have a little look over at MUTV and see if they've got anything they can look at their monitors. But no, that was a huge opportunity there, really, one-on-one, and it looked like he timed his run very well, and the pass had been timed perfectly, but maybe not according to the referee. But Michael Elise is going to use his amazing footwork. Barrett picks up the ball again, onside this time, hangs one up, almost turned into his own net. Here comes Jack Nolan, and this time that's blocked.
He's done well there.
United are really on the ropes as Reading come forward again. Chong's got Burley underneath him. Coleman just checks his shoulder and ends up firing a little one into Josh Barrett, who traps it beautifully. And at the moment, Reading have got United on the run. And centre half, and Nditi's there playing in the right wing position. Over Fontaine with a cross that's quite simply intercepted. And the pressure's all Reading's at the moment, isn't it, Tom? I guess they've got to try and make these opportunities count. Elise fires into Barrett, and that's an excellent save by Kovar to deny Josh Barrett. Yeah, fantastic bit of improvisation there. Took the shot early, didn't he, Josh? And that's the right thing to do in that scenario.
Yeah, he had a few players around him there, but I thought his first and second touch were good, and then he did as well as he could with the finish.
A couple of very good technicians combining there. Michael Elise scooping one through to Barrett, who was onside that time. He's denied by United captain Mate Kovar. But there will be a corner.
Bit of argy-bargy there in the box.
So Adam Little's just standing his ground. The goalkeeper's trying to make a bit of a deal of it. As you mentioned right at the top, Tom, Jack Nolan usually plays on the very high up the pitch. He's an attacking-minded player, but in that left wing-back role today, and he's playing against pretty much man-for-man with Taith Chong, a guy who's very highly rated at United, been linked with Juventus recently. He's dealt with him very well.
Yeah, he's done really well, Jack. I didn't know he could defend so well, to be fair.
Not only defending, but trying to set Josh Barrett away on an attack. Forces Max Taylor to go back to his goalkeeper, Kovar. And again, Nolan for Elise. East puts it into space. Liddell turns. He's going to get into the area. And he's just taken away on his right foot. Shifts it onto his left. Elise won't quite sit for him. Liddell tries one. And United survive.
I think we just needed to get a shot off there, to be fair. A few opportunities to get a shot away.
Both left-footed, Ryan East and Michael Elise, both wanted to shift it onto their favoured foot. And United finally get bodies in the way. A couple of blocks come in, and now it's them are on the attack, so see if they can take the lead. Another great tackle from Jack Nolan on Led. And again, he sets it away in attack, and Elise's got a bit of room. Just has a little look and see Elva Fontaine all the way to his right-hand side. He storms onto the ball. Again, cuts into the area. Well, he's upended, but just fairly according to the referee, and like he might have been a bit unlucky there that he showed a little bit too much to the defender and got quite a clean tackle in the end. Some good opportunities open up for Reading, but they haven't been able to take them since the start of the second half. Chong does well. That's a fantastic finish.
It's completely against the runner play as well.
Aliou Traore in the 64th minute puts Manchester United 2-1 into the lead, and Tom McIntyre, you've got to say that's a bit of a sucker punch, isn't it, given the amount of pressure that Reading have put United under.
Yeah, that's a real shame. That is, we've had quite a few good chances, and they've hardly got out of their own half, I think, for the last sort of 10-15 minutes. So, yeah.
And for Reading, once again, they've got to try and come from behind. But you've got to credit the goal scorer for a really decent strike, it's got to be said.
Yeah, no, he's done well. Good finish.
That was probably one of the first times that Taith Chong had managed to get outside Jack Nolan, and even then he had to lay the ball off, but with plenty of power, he smashed it inside the Jokkel Anderson's near post. Coleman just steps around his man, drives towards the edge of the box, but just slightly under hit for Adam Liddell, who was trying to drop in. It's a good interception by Andre Burley as the cross comes in from Led, I beg your pardon. Tom, when you're on top for so long for first 20 minutes of the half and then you get sucker punch like that, what does it do to your spirit? Is it tough to pick yourself up?
It's a bit of a blow. So you've thrown a lot on sort of winning the ball back high up and creating your own chances, and then sort of you're disappointed that those ones haven't gone in, say, as a defender, and then they go down the other end and score it. Yeah, it's really disappointing.
It's picked off. Coleman couldn't quite get there quick enough, and Chong's going to have an opportunity. But he takes that opportunity. 3-1 United, and it's a A little bit of a gift there, and it's taken with open arms by Taith Jong. And now it's a 2-goal margin that Reading have got to try and make up, Tom.
Yeah, no, he's done well there, I think. He's sort of just curled it into the far corner.
We mentioned earlier that can happen when you try and play it out from the back. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication, slightly underhit from Yokul, or maybe Ethan didn't quite anticipate it. But you got to give credit to the goal scorer Taith Jong for reading it.
Yeah, definitely.
And a game that's been pretty well balanced, and a game where Reading have had plenty of opportunities in the second period in particular. None better than Ryan East's effort that smashed against the woodwork. Reading now trailed by 3-1 here at Madejski Stadium in their last game before the effectively break for the Christmas period. It's another little curiosity about football, Tom. The first team, it's back to its wall-to-wall matches, really, isn't it? And the academy kind of breaks up. The 23s don't have a game for a little while. So if you're in that under-23 setup and not in the first team, you're probably gasping to when those games come back around in January, aren't you?
Yeah. It's always a bit frustrating having that break because you just want to keep your fitness up and stuff. But yeah, a few of the boys who sort of come from different countries can go back and visit their families, which is good. But yeah, essentially you want to just be playing football.
What has Christmas been like for you in the last couple of years, Tom? You've sort of stepping up into first team affairs. You've been a bit more on call and a bit.
Yeah, well, I've actually had a few. The injuries have sort of kept me out for the last few Christmases, and yeah, my dad always says to me, "Oh, hopefully this is the last one that you're not training on." But yeah, we'll be saying that again this year, I think.
It's Tom McIntyre up in the commentary position as we enter the final quarter of the match. Currently out with an injury, but hopefully, as we say, not too long. And fingers crossed your luck turns, Tom, because you've had your fair share of it. But but you've definitely got time on your side. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Ethan Coleman has a bit of luck of his own. Ryan East just checks his shoulder, and he knew that Mark Helm was coming, who was more than willing to give that foul away and prevent Reading from building. Delivery from Elise towards the far post. Traore backs himself to get out of that corner. And DT's matching him for pace and power. Nice little bit of improvisation from the United winger. The scorer of that second goal. As led shown inside, he just forces the pass and Hugo Verf can't get on the end of it. What are you making of the YouTube comments there, Tom?
What we got a bit of United talk. I'm not too familiar with all that United talk, but yeah.
No.
Need a bit more Reading presence, I think.
That's an order from Tom McIntyre. If you can, Reading fans, make yourself heard. As Josh Barrett just puts the pressure on and forces Max Taylor to concede a throw. Deep in the United half. But Burley's got options ahead of him. Finds Ademayo in the centre circle. the system that the 23s are playing is kind of allowing a little bit of freedom to some of the centre halves at times, and then DT, as you say, he's been playing up almost as a winger at points from that centre half position. Quite a fluid formation, isn't it, compared to rigid 4-4-2s that we used to in the past.
Yeah, I do like 5 at the back. You can do that as a centre half, sort of have a bit more of a licence to get on the ball and
Nolan
try and
chips
play
in towards
really.
Liddell, and it's dealt with well by Kovar. And as you mentioned, it just makes it gives a bit of variety, doesn't it, into what you can do. And
Yeah.
just going to have a stoppage as Champernard just gets checked by the referee, and that stoppage is going to be a very brief one by the looks of things. Just a little reminder that our next game at Madejski Stadium comes on Saturday, the 21st of December, 3 p.m. kickoff against Derby County in the Sky Bet Championship. Reduced prices for adults, just £15, £2 for ages 12 and under, and plenty of festive activities to get involved in round by the Eamon Dolan stands. Free to ride dodgems, reindeer rodeo.
Up the ding.
Up the ding. Well, there's a little bit of Reading chat coming in from Benjamin Chaplin, who says McIntyre for England. Doesn't know that he's been playing for Scotland's youth teams, does he? But you could change allegiance, can't you?
I think so.
That's it. Not going to press you in, Tom, because they might be listening up there. And Tom, Tilda Osborne wants to know when you're likely to be back.
Hopefully sort of early January, I think. So yeah, not too long, I hope.
We're all keeping our fingers crossed, Tilda. And United making their second substitution. Mark Helm's going to make way, and Hannibal Medjbury is going to come onto the field. And with Medjbury and Chong on the field, there's two
questionable Barnetts, I think.
If I would, I could, Tom, but when you get to my age, it's you can only.
I think you'd suit a hairstyle like that, to be fair.
Could try for the rest of my lifetime and never get close to getting as fulsome as that.
No.
Burley under pressure just goes back to Jokkel Anderson. But it's going to be picked up by Galbraith. There's Traore again. I think those 2 goals in quite quick succession have sort of settled things for United. They look a bit more comfortable and confident, and goals can do that, can't they?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they've had a bit more possession and sort of a bit more possession in our half as well.
Pretty fierce tackle coming in by Deschamps Bernard on Roberto and DT, but the fact that he won the ball was his saving grace there, because it was a bit of a firm one, let's say. Tom, Noah Robertson is wondering when you're going to come into 1871. You fancy that?
I actually went in the last game of last season, but I didn't really want to take the... I was a bit more low-key with it. I didn't really want to take Yaku's limelight.
And he did have the limelight, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
He made a grand entrance down the touchline, didn't he? And it is nice to have that kind of fan-led initiative, and it's turning into.
Oh yeah, it's
good
great that.
atmosphere.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
something that's been lacking over the years at Madejski Stadium. You know, you can get a good atmosphere on a day, but they're trying to make it every week, aren't they? These,
Yeah, no,
these fans.
it's great that, and it's great they kept it going too, because they came in for a bit of stick at one point. Yeah, they stood strong, and now it's almost packed every week now. So yeah, that's great.
Just a couple of minutes after coming on, Hannibal Medjbury gets his name taken by the referee. And it's going to be a double sub for the Royals as Thierry Nevers and Femi Aziz look to come on. Jack Nolan's one of the men taken off. And the other man to come off is Marcel Elverfontaine. So that's 2 subs, and we're approaching the final 10 minutes or so of the game. And
Done a bit more attacking here.
Some fresh legs, as you say. You got the won't go attacking just yet because United have got another man down in the centre circle. Just slows things down for a moment. And just to remind you, of course, that on Boxing Day, the Royals take on QPR here at Madejski Stadium. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff, and you can take advantage of midweek's mates rates. If you are a season ticket holder, get friends and family in for £10 adults, £5 concessions. Nevers for the first time finds Elise. Nice little give and go.
Reading use camera phone for this stream.
Michael Elise skips around a challenge, and that's really unlucky. Getting that footwork from Michael Elise. We saw it in pre-season, really, that chance he had against when David Luiz was rounded by in that Chelsea fixture. You can see the way he can just change pace and change direction so quickly. Michael Elise, he's got some serious footwork on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's so clever with his feet, and he'll just sort of drop his shoulder and sort of send you the wrong way.
Can deny the allegations that we're using a camera phone for this stream. It's third and final sub for United. Max Taylor makes way. Will Fish is going to come on for the final 9 minutes plus added time. United lead 3-1. Ryan East, not the tallest of guys, but always challenges in the air, not afraid to put himself in about it. Thierry Nevers just mistimes that one, but gets a bit lucky.
I think Yockel could have maybe picked that up, I don't think that was an intentional back pass there.
He's going to have to deal with this one on the ground as the Pressure comes in from the sub Hoogwerf. You mentioned this earlier, Tom, in the first half, some of the the off the field stuff that the academy gets up to. I think the under 12s have been away to the battlefields of the First World War this week, as they did last year. Good little opportunities for young men, isn't it? Well, here we go. As Elise gets the ball out of his feet quickly, Barrett's offside again, and once again that looks like a pretty tight call. Little just puts the ball in the net for. That was a bit of a tight one, Tom.
Yeah, I didn't really see that one myself, but we're not at the best angle to see them offsides, I don't think.
We'll trust the linesman on this occasion. But yeah, as a 11-year-old or so going away to the battlefield of the First World War, having football and against some international opposition and experience like that, it's probably don't get it. Even at clubs like United, probably something really unique to Reading, really.
Yeah, that's a really different one that I never got to experience when I was coming through. But yeah, that sounds like a really good trip. That.
Did you get many sort of trips away or like chances to go abroad ever, or is that something a bit more recent, do you think?
I had a few, but I think over recent years they've sort of done quite a few more of them. But yeah, the ones I did go on, I sort of had a great time.
Probably gets you a little bit used to that scenario of going away as a young man, and as you're going to do in the first team.
Yeah,
it's very different, isn't it, to when you step up from playing on Saturday mornings to
being with the lads all the time and stuff. When you're young, you sometimes sort of have a bit of a mess around and that, but yeah, it's about sort of cutting that out as quickly as you can.
Chong just levered off the ball by Odemeo, who skips past Medjbury as well. Femi Aziz on the ball. The cross ended up almost like a shot, but Kovar fields it well and bowls out to Taith Chong, who's got a little bit of room to work with here. And in the most dramatic of dives, Kovar tries to call for one, but he was just crowded out. And again, if you gave Chong an 8.5 in the first half, what are you giving that one? Let's put that on hold for a moment as United come. But Burley wins a couple of loose balls. Chong with a little bit of tight footwork. Coleman stabs into a little bit of space, but United do manage to retain possession. Four minutes to go. Tom, who's impressed you in this game so far for Reading? Is anyone...
Jack, I thought Jack had a good game. He's obviously come off now, and then Michael, he showed sort of good sort of nous going forward. Andre, I thought Andre's had a good game, defended well.
Little, the goal scorer for Reading, is back in the centre circle trying to link the play, just wins a foul. Yeah, and Michael Elise there is, well, again, another one bundled to the ground. He must benefit massively from, even this week, going away to Barnsley, going away to Stoke. Wasn't involved in those squads, but he's been in and around the first team setup, training with the team.
Yeah, definitely. Even training with the first team, you get so much out of it and stuff. And yeah, that was something that I always felt. If you're not sort of getting in the team, it's still beneficial to just train with the first team, I think, because you come on so much as a player in just a few sessions, really, because it's a lot quicker at first team level, even in the training.
Who were the first players who you were like seriously impressed by when you started training with the first team?
It's got to be Swifty and Ovi, I'd say. Everyone else, I think, who watches on a Saturday would agree that those two lads are sort of unbelievably gifted as footballers. And yeah, it's the same in training.
Some of those little touches from Ovia Jaria that never make the 2-minute highlights, but they're that's spooned wide by Ethan Galbraith. Yeah, those two players in particular, some of the things they can do with their football is pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish I was sort of half as good as Ovi, because yeah, he's got it all, really.
And started to contribute some goals this season too, which he didn't do so much of last year. He scored that fantastic goal with that, as Reading kind of like went through the press last year, if you remember.
Yeah,
but
I do.
But he's scored a couple of good ones this season.
Yeah, he has important ones.
Thierry Nevers just rides through a couple of challenges. Little chop to work a bit of space. Barrett still with a bit of energy to inject into this game. Here comes Aziz again. Little back heel finds. Well, Liddell tries to get on the score sheet again, but just beaten to the ball, and United come clear. But unlucky for Arnis, they ended up poking it into the path of a United player, and it's 4-on-3. 4-on-4 now is well, that's killed the game off. Dylan Hoogwerf manages to tuck inside the post, and 4-1. It's a tough reflection on the game, really, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. It's disappointing though. Just sort of we've obviously thrown a few more men forward, and that's the danger if you do that.
And United haven't had that many chances throughout the 90 minutes, but they've taken them, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And as we tick towards the 90s, Reading 1, Manchester United 4 here in Premier League 2 at Madejski Stadium. And that's going to put United within 1 point of West Ham, the leaders at the close of play. The other thing to mention, Tom, of course, is that the amount of different players that play for our under-23s, for various reasons. I mean, last time we were here, you mentioned Adam Liddell wasn't, gutted not to be starting, but Lucas Joao was getting a bit of game time to kind of get his legs up, and there's players playing up from the 18s, and there's a lot of different players that are using this as a stepping stone. So it's not like we're treating this quite in the same way. It's a bit more of there's a different reason to use this competition, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Burley's still going into that challenge with full commitments. Coleman receives, just checks his shoulder. Draws the foul. As we tick into the second of 4 added minutes, Chong's got another chance. Goes outside. Stopped in the line. And cleared. That's a very cynical one indeed, John. But from Ethan Galbraith, he's going to take a yellow card for the team as he just breaks up the attack. And Michael Elise has certainly drawn a few fouls this match, as you'd imagine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he has, yeah. Yeah, he's been good with the ball.
trademark crossfield balls from Barrett. He spots Femi Aziz. Elise just tries to slide one through to Thierry Nevers, but intercepted en route. Again, it's a little bit end-to-end now, isn't it? All of a sudden, Reading just looking for something to end on a bit of a high.
Yeah.
Chong's forced slightly wide, but he's going to cut back in on his left foot. Goes outside on his right and then just dribbles straight out of play. And again, he's been well marshalled all in, hasn't he, really? You know, given the reputation he arrives with. Reading have...
Yeah,
not at the expense of double or tripling up or anything like that. Just the players who have been tasked with marshalling him have done a very good job of it. Do you agree, Tom?
Yeah, no, I would. Yeah, because we've got good players ourselves too.
Thierry Nevers is one of the younger boys in the squad, and he's certainly a decent talent. Manages to offload to Elise. Nice little scoop pass, but Barrett wasn't quite on the same wavelength that time. And the point you make there, Tom, with a minute of stoppages to go, is that you can, if you scraped, if you painted both kits the same colour and scratched off the badges, you wouldn't be able to really say which one's the team with, you know, the super club, if you like, and which one's the, as Barrett just strikes over, you wouldn't be able to say which one's which, if you like.
No, and I think the scores, as you say, is not a fair reflection of how I think the game's gone, to be fair.
Yeah, a little bit of a lopsided scoreline, and certainly a commendable performance, just perhaps a little bit caught out once or twice at the back. And the crowd's still getting behind the Royals, even with 15 seconds of stoppage time to go. And as that attack trickles out, the referee brings the game to a close. It's ended Reading 1, Manchester United 4 in Premier League 2. A result that takes United that step closer to that single automatic spot. Leaves Reading in that mid-table scrap, hoping to get towards the playoffs at the end of it. As we come back onto the webcam, Tom, how would you reflect on that game?
Yeah, I thought we played well first half, I think, and then sort of start of the second half we did well, but yeah, I think they got a goal against a runner play, and then it was always going to be tough to get back in it. And then I think the sort of last two goals came from us sort of pushing men forward, and just got caught on the counter a few times.
Very obvious football lesson to learn, isn't it, that if you don't take your chances, you can get burnt, and that's kind of what happened, really. Those first 15, 20 minutes, Reading had a spate of chances, couldn't quite get the ball in the net one way or another, and United countered and got their noses in front again. Yeah,
definitely. If we put one of them away, I think it could have gone a different way, I think. But yeah, that's football, I suppose.
Thank you, of course, everyone who's watched us on the YouTube channel this evening. Tom, if you could just remind us how you're getting on, how you're, when we can expect to see you back in first team involvement in matchday squads and so on. Yeah,
hopefully, maybe in the next sort of 3.5 weeks. I think early January I should be back. But yeah, just need to be patient with it. Can't rush a muscular injury.
And hopefully we'll see you for this Derby County match, which we've had pop up at the next game at Madejski Stadium. Reduced price tickets, of course, £15 adults, as little as £2 for 12 and under. And some festive fun to get involved in, Tom. You said you're not going on reindeer rodeo. You could risk yourself there, couldn't you?
No, I might be eating a few mince pies, though.
And there's mulled wine and the rest of it if you want to have a nice time in the fan zone. It's ended Reading 1, Manchester United 4 in Premier League 2 here at Madejski Stadium. Thank you, of course, for everyone who's watched us on YouTube this evening. Of course, thank you to Tom McIntyre, Reading FC defender, for joining us and getting some stick from his teamates for doing so. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.